Here at What Culture Gaming, we've been discussing 2D side-scrolling platformers, both old and new. But if you think about a time when 3D graphics weren't an option, visuals were simple, but the gameplay had to be exceptional. And it's perhaps for that reason that so many of these old-school platformers hold up to this day. Today we're going to look at the golden age of 2D side-scrolling platformers. I'm Joe Hendry from What Culture Gaming, and this is the 10 best old-school 2D platformers. In at number 10, it's Super Ghouls and Ghosts. This is the third game in the Ghouls and Goblins series, and this is the perfect title for you if you're a hardcore gamer looking for an extra challenge. Because if you're tough enough to complete it, you'll find out exactly like I did, that once you get to the end of the game, you don't get that satisfaction of completion. No, you instead have to go all the way back to the beginning, do the whole thing all over again with an even higher difficulty level. But truth be told, that's a huge part of the appeal, because this game manages to balance charming visuals, solid gameplay, and an outrageous difficulty level to create a very addictive gaming experience that still holds up today. In at number 9, it's Rocket Knight Adventures for the Genesis or Mega Drive. This gem from Konami features our hero Sparkster, who is tasked with defeating a robot army with his powered sword and a rocket pack. It's a simple premise, but action is frantic and fast-paced with varied gameplay sequences. It's very polished, it's challenging, and there's tons of replay value. It is one of the best titles from the golden era of 2D platforming, and it perhaps didn't get its due by perhaps being overshadowed by a certain blue spiked hedgehog, who we may or may not encounter later. In at number 8, it's Wario Land 3. This is perhaps one of the most underrated platformers of all time, because Wario Land 3 is a fantastic alternative to the Mario series, and unlike Mario, you can't actually die in these games. But don't be thinking that that makes it easy, because if you get hit, it can be a huge inconvenience for you. Various different enemies will leave you with various status ailments, but that's part of the fun as well, because sometimes you need to change shape to progress to the next part of the level. This creates a very unique platforming experience with interesting puzzles that will keep you going for days. There's also loads of secrets in the game, so there's tons of replay value, as well as an interesting day and night dynamic that's unusual for a 2D platformer. Throw in some very strong mini games and you've got a fantastic and unique platformer in Wario Land 3. In at number 7, it's Kirby Superstar. This massive game is spread across 7 different adventures, as well as lots of fun mini games as well. So this overall is a huge gaming experience. It's a mammoth task to get through everything that this game has to offer. It features that trademark beloved Kirby gameplay with beautiful visuals that came at the end of the Super Nintendo's life cycle. We love it when developers go above and beyond the Call of Duty to give gamers as much content as they can in a release, and this game certainly over-delivers in that respect. In at number 6, Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Okay, first things first, we need to get over the debate. Is Castlevania a platforming game? We do understand the debate, but since a large part of the game does indeed involve jumping from platform to platform, we're going to say yes, it is a platformer, and a fantastic one at that. This was released in 1997, at a time where most developers were making use of the third dimension, but Castlevania decided to stick to what it knew best. Because of the cartoon art style, the game is actually aged pretty well, and whilst the game wasn't an initial smash hit, it picked up momentum due to strong reviews, and it now holds somewhat of a cult status. There's hundreds of different weapons and secrets to explore, with multiple endings that all add depth and replay value to what is arguably the quintessential Castlevania title. Number 5, Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy Kong's Quest. Here at What Culture, we're huge fans of the Donkey Kong Country franchise, and whilst we've previously praised the advancement in gaming, particularly the graphics that was achieved with the original installment, if you're talking about the straight up best game that you want to go back and play, we feel the Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy Kong's Quest is the way to go. This installment improves on the original with more varied gameplay and levels, and they've also expanded upon the importance of secret locations and the mini games that all complement the core gameplay. It's fun, it's charming, and there's loads of secrets to discover. In at number 4, it's Mega Man 2. This was released way back in 1988 for the Nintendo Entertainment System, and it still stands as one of the best, most solid platformers ever. We see Mega Man, our hero, going up against the evil Dr. Wily, and there's 8 stages with bosses. Now, the cool thing about Mega Man is that after defeating the bosses, their signature weapon becomes available. This impressive improvement on the original Mega Man came out just 1 year after the original, and it features intense gameplay and boss battles, polished presentation, an awesome 8-bit soundtrack, and just the perfect difficulty level. Don't worry though, So for anyone that really wants to punish themselves with the game, there is an increased difficulty level. There's also non-linear level selection, and the different choices of weapons for each level just adds another element of depth and fun to this amazing title. Number 3, Super Metroid. This game is still regarded as not just one of the best games of its genre, but one of the best video game experiences of all time. And it's not just one thing. Every detail has been taken care of in this game. It's the music, the deep story, the environments, the ability to upgrade Samus throughout the adventure. There's a level of eeriness in this game that you just wouldn't think would be possible in a retro 2D platformer, but Super Metroid really excels in building an atmosphere. The levels really feel alive with so much to discover, and there's impressive boss fights and non-linear gameplay that really makes you feel in control of your own adventure. This is about as immersive as a 2D platformer could ever hope to be, and we understand there's a similar debate with Castlevania about how much it falls into the platforming category, but for the purposes of today, we feel we need to give it the nod. In at number 2 is Sonic 3 and Knuckles for the Genesis or Sega Mega Drive. Now this is a source of controversy because first of all there's a debate about whether Sonic 3 and Knuckles can count as a single game, granted, but the game does play as a singular adventure, so for this purpose I feel we can treat it as a single game, the way it was originally intended to be played. Many people feel that Sonic 2 is the one, and in our Genesis list we even went down that path. However, since recently purchasing my own Mega Drive and having played both firsthand, it's impossible to ignore the innovations in gameplay that were achieved in Sonic 3, as well as the complex and engaging level design. You bolt your Sonic 3 cartridge on top of Sonic and Knuckles and you've got some fast-paced platforming perfection. In at number 1, Super Mario World. We've had heated debates here at What Culture HQ about whether the number 1 spot should have gone to Mario 3 or Mario World, and in truth it really depends on the criteria, because if you're talking about the greatest contribution to gaming, the most significant leap from its predecessors, and a sheer moment in gaming history, then it's undoubtedly got to be Mario 3. But if we're purely talking about the best, the game that you want to go back and play today, then it has to be Mario World, because as good as Super Mario Bros. 3 is, if you want to pick up and play today, Super Mario World has quite simply the most flawless collection of platforming levels ever assembled. So that was our 10 best retro 2D platforming games. Do you agree with us? Do you feel that Super Metroid and Castlevania can be classed as platformers, or are they their own Metrovania games? I've been Joe Hendry, and if you want to follow me on Twitter, please do via @JoeSHendry. Also make sure you like, share and subscribe, and let us know what you think in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time.